Halloween is a great time of the year. If you're a kid, you're looking forward to dressing up as characters you probably shouldn't have heard of, or if you're less rebellious and have more miserly parents that won't let you dress up as Ted Bundy or Jack the Ripper, then you may find yourself dressed up as a ghost or a pumpkin. Then you can go around your town and harass innocent people into giving you sweets under threat of unknown punishments that usually doesn't exist but can range from children being rude to them pelting your house with eggs. In the old days, Christians celebrated Halloween by remembering lost souls by giving soul cakes and carrying about hollowed out turnips, not pumpkins, carved into figures of the dead and supernatural beings to help ward off evil spirits. But then even further back, before it was co-opted by Christians, it was called Samhain, and was more to do with the time of year and the thinning of the border between the world of the living and the world of the dead and spirits. And today the best representation of this can be found in movies, since it is the only medium we have that can convey true horror and fear of the unknown without having to leave the comforts of our nicely heated and safe living rooms. But before I get started, please consider subscribing, as that would really help me out, and if you like this content, give it a like, or I'll come crawling out of your screen like some weird looking Japanese girl, or maybe I'll haunt you through your TV like Poltergeist, or I'll come after you like Pennywise. Halloween is a spooky time of year. Here in England it gets dark before 5 p.m, and it's often misty and a bit chilly, which can make the walk across the moors to the local shop a rather daunting prospect. After all, as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote in The Hound of the Baskervilles, beware the hours of darkness, when the powers of evil are exalted. If you are lucky enough to have the comforting benefit of street lights, the night can seem less of a terror, but if your street is dark and filled with the night, you'll no doubt be extra wary of opening your door to an unknown knock. And this is the perfect time of year to watch a scary movie. Curled up on the sofa with, if you are lucky, the comforting presence of your partner, or if you're alone, a warm cup of soup, or maybe a hot chocolate to warm your insides. There are a lot of movies to choose from. Some of them light-hearted and not intended to give you a heart attack. Others are tense and intended to make you hide behind your pillow and scream, "He's behind you!" at the screen. Still others are gruesome and made for people whose stomachs do not turn at the prospect of other people's stomachs being torn out and smeared across the TV screen. Today, I have chosen a selection of movies that I will be watching this Halloween as children haunt the streets outside and the evil spirits watch them from the dark places, choosing the tastiest morsels for themselves. First up, and while it may be made for kids, it is still a worthy movie for any Halloween movie binge, and that's Monster House. A movie that is scarier than it has any right to be, and funny enough to keep both kids and adults amused. It is a cautionary tale about obsession, and how it can transcend the mortal world, and is not content with destroying you while you're alive, and can still cause problems even after you're gone. And also about how you really should tell the authorities if someone dies in your house, even if it is someone you love, rather than just covering it up and then keeping a weird shrine to them and then spending 50 years allowing the memory of their death to drive you crazy until you're a demented, twisted old person who makes children cry when they're foolish enough to allow their ball to land on your lawn. But it is a fun film for all the family, so if you're entertaining kids but still want them to endure/enjoy, depending on their disposition, a Halloween movie, this is it. Next up, and this is a bit of an unusual one, is Dark Night of the Scarecrow, 1981. It was a made-for-TV movie that, while not having the budget of a big-screen movie, is certainly effective and has a few pretty creepy moments that lift it above the average made-for-TV movie. Bubba, a mentally challenged man who is friends with a young girl, is accused of her killing when she is injured by a dog, and a lynching is organised, and Bubba is chased down to his hiding place as a scarecrow on his aunt's farm. And the scene where he is caught is both creepy and hard to watch. What follows is your classic supernatural revenge movie. The acting is solid, and while it doesn't break any new ground, it has a kind of raw, not overproduced feel that was quite common for these old 70s to early 80s movies. It is well worth a watch if you are a fan of old movies. And now, I have to talk about a movie that is so weird and just plain crazy that it really can only have come from the 80s, when filmmaking was something that it seems like almost anyone could do if they had a camera and enough people willing to help, because there is no other way to explain how this film came into being. And it is Neon Maniacs. This movie was actually mentioned to me by a viewer, and I have to say, it is a strange watch. It truly is a bizarre movie and is perfect for Halloween, even if it had no in-film connection to Halloween, just simply because of its antagonists, who are the most murderous bunch of freaks, creeps and weirdos I think I have ever seen depicted anywhere outside of a Howard Lovecraft book, and who have a very strange weakness. The only major drawback is the movie's ending, because it doesn't have one. It was never filmed, and so where it would have gone we will never know. But that is also part of the charm of this very odd movie. And last but not least, I will round this list off with a movie that I have watched countless times, and which I feel if I left off this list would make a mockery of the idea of even writing a list of Halloween movies. Yes, I am talking about Halloween. Not the bullshit ones they released recently with Jamie Lee Curtis as an old Laurie Strode, who has for reasons unknown decided that someone who attacked her 40 years before, and who she has since had no contact with, and who is locked up in a mental hospital, is going to come and get her at any minute, so she is prepared for it for all of that time. Yep, it is gibberish nonsense. And certainly not the travesty that was Rob Zombie's horrific attempt to destroy the franchise with his complete lack of atmosphere and horrible dialogue and just awful storytelling. I am of course talking about the original 1978 film that inspired a whole genre of movie making, and which has rarely if ever been topped. It is a truly great movie, and it deserves to be on or at the top of all of the Halloween movie lists. It is scary, tense, brutal, and all-round enjoyable. Myers is at his creepy best before the genre degraded into horror porn. It hits a balance that most horror movies miss between scares, pacing, gore, and atmosphere. It is the movie I will be watching again Halloween night, and probably every other Halloween too. William Shatner may be a bit disturbing sometimes, but he's never been this scary. I hope you've enjoyed this little list, and if so, leave a comment and let me know what movies you'll be enjoying on this Fright Night. This has been Movie Suck wondering, what's your favourite scary movie? Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Or from behind a door or something. Ooh.